Welcome to another installment of Midnight Cowteen. Today I'll talk about two movies which both are poorly written, but only one of them is entirely bad. You'll understand soon. I think I'll take the not entirely bad movie first, even though it's the second I saw, not the first. The Wicker Man is about what the hell was his name? Talos? Yeah. Who tries to save a woman and child in a car when he starts burning, but he fails and they die. Anyway, he gets contacted by a former fiancée of his who wants him to look for her missing child. So he travels to a mysterious island where he meets a lot of strange people. Now this is a remake of the 1973 original The Wicker Man. And I've heard a lot of things about it. People just going crazy over its awfulness. And while there is a lot of awful stuff in it, it's not... Well, there is a kind of weird, admirable charm to it. Nicolas Cage, for example, he's amazing. In the wrong way, of course, but still. I mean, always weird mannerisms, facial gestures, and his one-liners. I mean, with him alone, you're practically entertained throughout the entire movie. And the scenery looks pretty nice too, you know. There's some neat shots of the landscape of the island that Cage is on. And there are some nice camera angles as well. As for the suspense, it's not big of a suspense, but you know, there is some in the beginning before it starts to fall apart completely, of course. But at first you're, you know, not entirely on board, but you're sort of intrigued at least. And admittedly, there is some actually kind of creepy moments. Like those weird cackling ladies, at least. I was admittedly a little freaked out by them. But, of course, there is some absolutely awful writing in this one. For example, there's a lot of plot holes. Like the car crash at the beginning. When you start to think more about it, it doesn't quite relate to the rest of the movie that well. I mean, the little girl that was in the car, that's the girl he apparently is looking for next, but how could she have possibly survived? And how did the car even explode in the first place? It's weird. And then there is the ending, which I won't spoil, but if you thought things already didn't really make sense, your brain will completely melt. It will. Yeah. It's so stupid. And yeah, there is some incredibly cringeworthy acting as well, especially from Kate Behan, or heck, she's the worst in the movie. And she plays Willow, Nicolas Cage's ex-fiancée. I'm not gonna call him by his character name, okay? And she has the exact same concerned expression in the whole movie. She just has the same incredibly concerned look on her face all the time, no matter which context. And it's even more annoying with how blandly she also delivers her lines. Like, you need to help me, Nicholas. This child, I haven't seen her in days. And oh my god, the way she cuts off sentences, it's so irritating. I mean, when she tries to tell me something, she for some reason is always unable to complete her sentences first. There was this, she was, I think these people, they just fucking complete the sentence already. Jesus. And the acting from several of the town people as well is pretty awful. Yeah. Not as bad as Kate Behan, no, but still not very good. But despite the, incredibly clunky writing and bad acting, I wouldn't say it's quite as bad as people make it out to be. I mean, sure, in a way it is bad, but it's entertaining kind of bad, at least. Deciding on the rating for this one was pretty difficult. I think I'm gonna be a little semi-generous and give this movie a 5.5 out of 10. Alright, second movie. This is a Swedish movie which is called Kärlek Deluxe. God damn, what an awful title. Anyway, it's about this writer, played by Moa Gammel, who is a hit with readers, but not a hit with the critics. So anyway, she tries to think of what book to write next. Or well, at least she does after she gets some incredibly harsh criticism from her favorite writer, who, in this very weird scene, decides to help her after Gammel completely flips out on her. And oh, this line. After Gammel has flipped out on her favorite writer says, "That woman has cunt hair." Pretty much indicating that she's badass. Oh man, that was so cringeworthy. Anyway, she then tries to help him in these weird philosophical ways. And meanwhile, Gammel meets the first attractive man after the next. So, this movie is fucking awful! I mean, it tries to be this kind of deep piece about how writing is hard, with all these philosophical metaphors like writing is like finally cracking open an egg, or to write you need to experience your I don't know, inner owl. You get what I mean? There are lines like this in the entire movie. But not only do they sound annoyingly pretentious, but they don't even really mean anything. Because you know what? This movie is not about writing. It's just a stupid, cliched romantic comedy which tries to be more than it is. Because even though this is about the writer, the bigger focus is always on the shitty romances that Gammel has with first one man, then another one. Or well, romance, if you even can call it that. Because you see, both of these men, they, act very nice against her, but she just all the time she just keeps acting like an asshole to them for no reason, just because she herself had a bad day. And this goes on for so long that when she has to choose between one of them, you don't give a shit. Actually, you wish that she ends up alone, because she's such an unlikable prick. I mean, even the second man she meets, who screws up at one occasion and is being an ass to her, even he at least apologizes afterwards, but she just barely ever feels remorse. At least not until it's too late. Until she has written a book about one of the nice men she met. And talked shit about him in it. Wow. Just good work. I'm sure every man will come hungering for you now. Then there is the issue of incredibly wasted talent. I don't really care much about Sarah Dawn Finer, but David Hellenius and Peter Dalle, they're both, very respected actors who I know can be very funny. But the lines they get are awful, and they don't even get much screen time in the movie. Not even Dalle, whose name is on the freaking cover photo. He's in it for like 2 minutes. As for most of the other actors, they are not good at all. Especially the stupid book publicist that Gummel goes to, who just is never satisfied with what she has to write. And the stupidest moment with the book publicist, and maybe the stupidest moment of the whole movie, is when Gummel comes with a book about her personal life, which includes heartbreak, but the book publicist says that, sorry, that's not the book I need. I wanted a book about heartbreak, but look, you stupid bitch! The movie has a ton of heartbreak content in it. But then Gummel says that she's gonna write about shoes as well, and the book publicist told, oh, I fucking love shoes! You're rehired! So, what more is there to say? Oh, the music. You know the movie My Sister's Keeper, which kept beating over your head with its incredibly ear-painful music? Well, this movie does exactly that. Instead of, attempting some real heartfelt emotion, we just have these fucking montages with so cuddly music to it, and look at how these people are laughing and having fun. So overall, this is a movie with appalling writing, appalling acting, and most of all, an appalling romance. Oh, and did I mention the failed attempt at philosophy? Kärlek Deluxe is an inexcusable, insulting piece of shit. This is my message to the Swedish film industry. Please shape up already. Please. We desperately need a revival. Stop putting out these lazy so-called comedies and start making some real movies for once. Kärlek Deluxe, which is Love Deluxe in English, gets a 2 out of 10. And it's not easy to get a 2 out of 10 for me when it comes to a movie. That was my reviews for the Wicker Man remake and Kärlek Deluxe. See you next time.